Alright, I got a new camera, so let's take a closer look at the Suburban. Okay, so one thing I do have to say right away is cosmetically, this thing is kind of a nightmare. It's got a long way to go. So, but mechanically, it's a sound vehicle. So that's kind of what matters at this point. So, yeah, cosmetically, a lot to go. But you're gonna see in a moment here. So let's check it out. Okay, so this door's not in the best of shape. This thing kind of doesn't go back unless you persuade it to. We got this little action here. It works, but if you were to yank on that too hard, it would surely come off. The interior is not terrible as far as the seats go. I mean, you gotta think of this is a 92, so what can you expect, you know? I mean, the roof, that's a whole, or the ceiling here, that's a whole another situation. We got that cloth coming down there, many places. Again, the guy that had this before I did, this thing had one purpose, and it wasn't to look pretty. It was to generate insane amounts of RF. So it's kind of, I think, why the interior just kind of went to the wayside here. I don't know, but let's take a look in the back here. Over here, this just fell off recently, laying down there. So you know, gonna have to deal with that. In the back, we have seat belts just hanging there. Yep. There you go, seat belt. This piece just kind of fell off the other day. Like, the longer I have this, you know, things are just kind of falling apart. But, you know, my gosh, it's so old. What can you expect? I think it's really cool, actually. But anyway, down here is that battery I put in that is wired in with the alternator and the battery under the hood. We have a speaker back here, which I haven't gotten to work yet. And there's two 6x9s up there, which I'm told work, or I guess work. I just haven't gotten that figured out quite yet. Mostly because of this. There's an amp down there and it's not working currently. I have to put some time into figuring that out. It just hasn't gotten there yet. On the exterior, oh, rust. First day I was driving and I got to where I was going and this was just hanging off. Back looks pretty good. This side's not bad. We got these little guys on here. I don't really know what they're about. Little reflectors, I suppose. We got two of them on both sides. Down here we have some issues. Rust. These tires are not great. This one in particular locks up if you hit the brakes too hard. No anti-lock brakes in a 92 Suburban. Up front, doesn't look terrible. So yeah, that about wraps up the exterior. Okay, so as previously mentioned, this is this was a competition vehicle. This is that Suburban. They had all those alternators jammed into the hood. They got taken out and I bought the truck. So here are a few ways in which I'm really ahead of the game as far as things that have gotten done to this vehicle that I don't have to do. First off, we got ground straps. Everything in here has been ground strapped. Ground strap. Well, there's one in there. Ground strap. Ground strap. Ground strap. And a ground strap. So that's a lot that's already been done that I don't have to deal with. So kudos to whoever had this thing before me. Okay, up top we have our rear antenna mount, and we have another one up front there. As I have said in my other videos, this one would here would be a reflector, and that one up there would be, I guess you would call it your primary. I don't know. So a little bit more about those antenna mounts. It's not your average mount. These mounts have a steel plate on the underside to help distribute the load of the antenna up there. So because the metal on the ceiling of this vehicle isn't thick enough to support one of those big monkey-made coils up there, coil antennas. If you drive around, it could, if you hit something, it could bend your roof. So underneath, you mount a steel plate to help distribute that that force if something were to impact your antenna. So we have one up there, and I guess that wire runs up underneath the ceiling to the rear there. But this is I drive around with this thing. This is serious antenna. Freaking cool. Not average. So let's go take a look under the hood. Now, I got this real skinny battery here. And the reason that battery is so skinny is because it was to make room for alternators. There are alternators in here. You can see down here, I got a bracket. All I gotta do is mount an alternator and change the belt, and I got two of them on there. So that's another reason I'm ahead of the game. Here's the reason I'm behind the game. This used to be part of the air conditioning system. So what they did was they just hacked the AC out of the system to make room. Yeah, hacked the AC out of the vehicle to make room for more alternators. Well, that's all well and good, except for me, I gotta drive this thing around, and it gets pretty daggone hot around here. So I kind of, am missing those compressors. But anyway. So all I have in here at the moment is this one little alternator. Look at it. This one lonely alternator. We got to get another one in here. It looks, to keep it company. So with this bracket over here, that's real easy to do. It's just plug and play. Pop that bad boy on, change the belt, and we're rocking and rolling. So another reason a vehicle like this, a 92, are more desirable than, say, newer vehicles, is this engine here is a mechanical machine. And when I say that, what I mean is there's no computer running this vehicle. There's a distributor that has a part inside there that rotates, and that's what makes the contacts for these wires that fires your spark plugs. As that thing rotates, it makes contacts with different points, and that's what fires your spark plugs. Newer vehicles all have computers that do that for them. There's no more distributor. It's all done with computers. Well, if you happen to be around insane amounts of RF, that can overwhelm the computer in your vehicle and short out your motor. Your motor will shut down when you're keying down and dropping some heavy hammer load there. And that's not really something you want to have happen. So there's steps you can take to help mitigate that. There's shielding. You can get RF shielding to help block that. But in this case, we don't need any of that because we have a distributor, a mechanical engine, something that's kind of, well, you just don't see anymore, but reliable, extremely reliable. This thing has 315,000 miles on it. I have no idea if this motor's been replaced. It's hard to say what's happened to it and hasn't. Underneath, while I was doing an oil change, there's the pan underneath the transmission was brand new, but that doesn't mean anything as far as whether the transmission was new or what. So it's really hard to say, because you know, you put 100,000 miles on an engine and it's gonna look like that no matter what. So whether that's been replaced or not, I really don't know, but the thing runs like a champ. It's a solid truck. There's a squeal wheel on it. We got a little bit of a squeal right here. It's this freaking pulley, which is not hard to fix. I just gotta do it. But it's kind of getting high on the list because it gets on my nerves. Anyway, so yeah, that's a closer look at the Bourbon. This thing, my plan for it is to throw some heat in this bad boy and run some competitions with it and see what we can do, because I think it will be a blast to do, so why not? So 1992 Chevy Suburban, former competition CB radio vehicle and future competition CB radio vehicle. 219 got down.